notwithstanding, these elections passed, I am more optimistic today about the future of our party than I have been in a very, very long time. And I'm more optimistic about our chances of winning in November than I've been in a very, very long time. And let me tell you just real quickly 3 reasons why I'm so optimistic. First of all, as I'm traveling around the state, and ever since the legislative session was over back on February the 28th, we've been out in the 2.5 months since then, traveling all across the state. Everywhere I go, I can almost palpably feel the political atmosphere and the political environment changing. I think a lot of that has to do with what's going on in Washington, D.C. People look at what's going on in Washington, D.C. today, and they are dismayed. They see the country on a rampant march toward a European-style socialistic form of government, and that's not what people want. They see Washington spending money that they don't have to make promises they can't keep. And when they don't have enough money, they just print a little more, they borrow more from the Chinese, they incur more debt for future generations of Americans. And I think people are beginning to say, we need a little balance in the system of government that we have. And goodness knows there's no balance in Washington today. I mean, when you got the likes of Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid, there is no balance in Washington. But they know that one of the ways we can get some balance in government is by restoring some common sense conservative leadership to the highest levels of our state government here in Virginia. And that's why I think that seeing people rally behind our McDonnell Bolling ticket and this tremendous enthusiasm that we see. The political environment is changing, and it's changing in our direction. Second, the issues in this campaign are clearly lining up in our favor. When you think about what are the big issues in this campaign, well, the biggest thing is the need to get our economy moving again and create jobs and restore economic security for Virginia's families. We know how to do that. We know that you don't do that by raising taxes and imposing more overly burdensome regulations on families and businesses. We know that you do that by cutting taxes, by letting families and businesses keep more of their money and invest more of their money and spend more of their money the way they see fit. You do that by reducing regulations and freeing up the entrepreneurial spirit of the American people. And you do that by making sure that Virginia remains the most business-friendly state in America by rejecting card check and supporting our right to work law. We've got opponents, make no mistake about this, we've got opponents who are leading the attack to destroy our right to work law and the economic advantage that it brings Virginia. The right to work law is under attack in Washington by that horrific job-killing proposal called card check that would result in the mass unionization of businesses in America, make American business and industry non-competitive in the global marketplace of the 21st century, and take away a worker's most precious right, which is the right to vote in a secret ballot before their workplace can be unionized. And the right to work law is under attack here in Virginia by 3 Democratic candidates for governor and 2 Democratic candidates for lieutenant governor who 6 weeks ago, for the first time in history, were walking a union picket line in Northern Virginia, picketing Hilton hotels at the same time that we were trying to recruit Hilton Hotels corporate offices to Virginia. I mean, think about the irony of that. Anybody seen these slick TV commercials that the huckster Terry McAuliffe is running? Now, by the way, I don't call him a huckster. You ever read his autobiography? He called himself a huckster. All right? I don't think we want a governor who calls himself a huckster, but nonetheless, he's out there running these TV ads talking about creating jobs. Well, I got a message this morning for Terry McAuliffe and the Democrats. If they want to create jobs in Virginia, they need to oppose card check, support the right to work law, and stop walking union picket lines. Let me just mention 2 other issues real quick. Energy. You know, 2 weeks ago, Bob McDonnell and I released our More Energy, More Jobs platform. And that platform is all about making Virginia the nation's leader in energy. We want to make Virginia the nation's leader when it comes to developing traditional sources of energy like clean coal and nuclear power. We want to make Virginia the nation's leader when it comes to developing renewable sources of energy like wind and solar. We even said we'd support responsible conservation measures as long as they're based on sound science and not political science. But the big difference between us and our opponents is we also want to make Virginia the first state on the eastern seaboard to be able to go out there and develop the vast array of offshore energy resources. Our opponents say, oh no, we can't do that. You know, they don't want to develop our offshore energy resources. They don't believe there is such a thing as clean coal. You know, they don't think we can develop nuclear safely. Well, if the French can do it, we can do it. If the French can do it, anybody can do it. We can especially do it. You know, they think we can solve our energy problems through wind and solar and conservation. But you and I know that only accounts for about 1% of our energy use today. We got to be developing these other things as well. Old Dominion University said that by developing our offshore energy resources, we'd create 25,000 new jobs, $8 billion in capital investment, $644 million in taxable state and local wages, $271 million in state and local tax revenue, and $160 million a year in royalty payments for the Commonwealth of Virginia. You want to invest in education? You want to solve our transportation problems without raising taxes? That money is sitting there. It is waiting there. Bob McDonnell and Bill Bolling understand that more energy means more jobs for more Virginians, and that's a big difference. Let me just mention one more big difference, and that's the need to restore fiscal integrity to government. We understand the need to restore fiscal integrity to government. Now, goodness knows there's no fiscal integrity in Washington. But I got news for you. There's not much fiscal integrity in Richmond either. Over the course of the last 10 years, the size of our state budget has doubled. All right, doubled. During this administration, in the last 4 years, this administration has done more to destroy the fiscal integrity of the Commonwealth of Virginia than any administration in history. In the last 4 years, here's the record. This administration has missed their budget estimates by more than 20 percentage points. They've incurred over $5 billion in budget shortfalls. They have fully depleted, or will fully deplete by the time they're done, our rainy day fund that was fully vested at more than $1 billion when Mark Warner left office 4 years ago. They have consistently tried to balance their budgets through overly optimistic revenue projections, one-time money to pay for ongoing programs, federal bailout dollars, raids on the rainy day fund, and an excessive use of state debt. Now, my friends, that is no way to run a household, it is no way to run a business, and it's sure no way to run a state government. That is not how we became the best managed state in America. It is not how we earned a AAA bond rating, and it is not the way that Bob McDonnell and Bill Bolling will do business. We will balance our budgets on realistic revenue projections. We will rein in state government spending. We will eliminate the budget gimmicks, and we will restore fiscal integrity to Virginia's state government.